Hello everyone, welcome to my first podcast as PMQ Consultancy. So this is my first podcast, so hopefully this is very interesting to everyone. The actual purpose of my blog and podcast is to help widen the reach and share my best practices and discuss the ever-evolving world of product management. So my journey so far has been filled with lessons and some eye-opening experiences, but all very valuable teachings. So throughout this platform, I wanted to give back by sharing insights and engaging with thought leaders and tackling real-world industry challenges. So my first podcast is all around living in my new product management era. So taking a few lessons from Taylor Swift. My thoughts around this podcast were to discuss the role of the PO/PM and if the roles are evolving, changing, or if the actual PO role itself is going to survive in the future. So the role of product owners and product managers has evolved dramatically recently. So some organisations are blurring the lines between them. So some organisations have product owners, some have a mix of product owners and PMs. I think most of them are changing to be product management roles, but some organisations remain quite Scrum-based and Agile-based, so those have POs. Some have PMs to be more thought leaders and strategic thinking, and some have product owners as more of an organisational role. Some also may or may not have Scrum Masters, so that's another thing that we may like to discuss. But some of the things that I've been thinking about as part of this topic are the shift towards strategic PMs, so product managers today being more strategic thinkers and not just backlog managers, and how this shift impacts Agile teams and traditional PO responsibilities. So another topic I've thought about discussing today, so are POs still needed? So some organisations are merging the PO role into the PM function. And does that make sense? How does that work in the modern way of working without the Agile mindset as such? And discussing real-world examples of where this has worked or failed. Another topic I will be discussing is how has product management changed in the last 5 years? So I think in the past 5 years, the roles of product managers were primarily roadmap focused, and now they're responsible for market strategy, growth and user research, these kind of things. And the rise of AI data-driven decision making and increasing importance of customer experience has actually changed the PO's role and PM's role quite significantly. Another topic that I thought maybe be relevant to this discussion would be the PMs owning the full delivery lifecycle. So some companies are giving PMs end-to-end ownership from ideation to delivery. So does this make PMs more effective, or does this stretch them too thin? So the future of product management roles, will companies continue merging POs and PMs, or will we see specialised product roles emerge? And then also, finally, the predictions of the next 5 years in Agile and product strategy. So first of all, the permanent replacement of POs and PMs. So I think on this topic, my opinion would be that POs and PMs are quite a different role. I think they're different uses, different needs. I think with more of an evolved business, the PM is more effective. I think with more standard, structured, old school businesses, the POs still may be relevant. I think where teams like development teams have adapted their needs over time and become more self-sufficient, the PO role isn't as needed or required. I think that's the same with all kind of Scrum roles, the Scrum Master, the Agile lead. These roles get made less important over time as the teams become more self-sufficient. The next thing is to discuss is what industry or company size benefits most from keeping the PO and PM roles separate. So I think the more traditional size companies still require the PO role, and the PM role is more for fast thinking startups, medium SMEs, medium-sized businesses that need a bit of growth mindset. So the PM there provides that growth mindset for them, whereas the PO role in the more traditional company, where there isn't as much growth, provides the structure there. How has the role of a PM evolved, and what is next? So I think the role of the PM has evolved to, as we say, be more of a strategic role, be more forward thinking, keep the pace with the development, provide the developers with space to actually bring those ideas to the table. It's a lot more fast paced than it used to be. So I think POs and PMs have to be more adaptable to this. So you have to drive the change and drive strategic thinking through the teams rather than the structure and the mindset and the agile that we used to have. I think it will keep evolving that way. So it's probably going to be more of a fast-paced environment that the PMs and POs will work in, and this will keep changing over time. So I think it just needs to keep focused on delivering those outputs for the users and delivering the value. Are PMs today expected to wear too many hats? So I think there is some confusion around what a PM and PO is, if they're the same role, if they're different roles. I know a lot of roles which are advertised on LinkedIn which are PO/PM or something like that. I think today the PMs probably are wearing too many hats, but it would be nice to get everyone's thoughts on this. I think the PO is quite a structured role. It's very focused, whereas the PM's role is it's quite adaptable. It's got a lot of things going on. You don't have as much thinking time with the teams. You have to juggle lots of stakeholder requirements and try and think of the user while you're being a scrum master, being a PO, being a PM. So I think there are quite a lot of expectations and pressures on the PM at the moment. But yeah, it would be nice to hear what people think about that. So how can companies ensure that product teams remain strategic and not just reactive? So I think in this sense, the way forward for the product management side of things is to help give the teams space to be proactive rather than reactive. And that means giving them time to do things like hackathons, time to innovate, time to think outside the box, time in the sprints to just explore things, test things out, give things a go. I think development teams are usually quite scared of change. So it's giving them that space and time to go out and try new things and test that things work or that they don't work and just be a bit more innovative. I think that is what is required in the fast-paced environment that we've got at the moment with product management.